What were your thoughts on that game?
Well, first 10, 15, probably first 10 minutes, fairly even, but a lot of that was mistakes we were making, made it an even game. We're a little bit impatient with our play, looking to force balls, which meant a turnover of possession, which ultimately meant it to be a fairly open game, which is obviously not what probably either coach wants. Certainly not us. But then we found our rhythm. We found our game. I kind of judged the game up to 65 minutes. The reason being is at that point, and I know they did as well, we made wholesale changes, but we were the one in the ascendancy. So at that point, I would really never ever make the changes, or at least the number of changes in which I did in such a short space of time. I think ultimately it ended up being 5 or 6 subs, and that's no disrespect to the subs that came on or anything to do with their performance, but that's always going to disrupt what you're doing and what we were doing at that time, and for the prior 40 minutes, I'd say, we were happy with. Well, on the whole, we were happy with.
With the first goal coming from a mistake,
Yeah.
is that something you're going to try and get rid of, or is that just something that happens?
It does happen. We ask the players to play. Yeah, and it is, and part of it is them finding their rhythm and their touch and things like that. It wasn't just one mistake; it was a catalogue of errors which led to it. There are things that we could do to perhaps prevent it. Well, yeah, certainly from you can't prevent players making mistakes, but what you can do is you can prevent the game being as open at that particular point when you make the mistake. Which is something that we haven't done, and at that time where we were playing from the back, we were very, very expansive. Our forward line were very high, our midfield were high, almost setting up as if the goalkeeper was going to kick. So there was no chance that we were going to be able to recover and get the necessary players behind the ball to stop the ball from ultimately going in the net. So there's obviously things like that. There are tweaks, but there's other times within games where players are going to just make mistakes. That's why we're at the level.
You seem to play Don Morgan Griffiths in many roles today. He seemed to do well with his distribution. He seems to be quite strong. Is he going to be one of the key players?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a really good player. We're delighted to have him at the football club. I thought all the midfielders played well. Initially, they were given a licence to rotate. So himself and Webby more than Anis was obviously playing a little bit higher. But then we actually said no. We designated roles, which meant Webby more often than not was deeper, which gave Dom a licence to go and find little pockets and go and play. We'd like to have a little bit more of the ball first half. But he's a busy player. He's got bags of energy. He's got a great touch. He wants to be all over the pitch, and he is all over the pitch. And he'll do really well at the level.
Ben Wright seemed to have a strong game as well. Seemed to have great feet up top.
Right. Well, Wright, he's a technician. We spoke about him prior. He's one that's going to get better and better. And the more the players understand him and he understands the system, he should only go from strength to strength. He knows how to occupy centre halves. He knows when to hold the ball, when to flick the ball, when to shoot, and we're happy. As long as players have an upward trajectory in terms of their performance, we're generally happy, and he's certainly got that. So, sorry.
Going into the next game, and what's the main thing you're going to work on during the week?
Well, in the game of, like I said, up to that 65-minute point, for long periods we were on top. Long periods we were in their half. Long periods we were in areas to create chances, be chance creation. Because I think for as dominant we were in terms of territory, up to that 65-minute point, I don't think we created we didn't create enough chance to reflect that. But also as well, you've got to give respect to the opposition who were very well drilled and they stuck to their guns and they did well. part on us, but also part you've got to tip your hat and say they defended well as well.
Looking to the season ahead, what are the ambitions for Harley Whitney?
The ambition is only to win the next game. The player group always have their own ambition, and privately players will always have their own ambition. And they can talk, and they can, sometimes they're a little bit unrealistic, but more often than not, players know truly what they can do. They're very optimistic. They're optimistic because most of the players from last season are here. The players we brought in, the 4 players as it stands, with more to come potentially. The players have got every right to feel excited. We've got 4 more, arguably the better forwards within the league at the football club. And we've got some exceptional players in good positions, so they've got every right to think that. But as a management team, our directive is always, certainly when it's competitive. I mean, at the moment, pre-season is always a little bit of a false economy. Is we take literally each game as it comes, and we know if we do that and we prepare correctly, and then we apply that preparation into a game, we know, especially what we got. If we win, if we do that, and we're competitive in every game, then we've got a chance.
Thank you.